You should be the ones with the experience that people back home look up to and look guidance and leadership for, in fact. Indeed, a heavy responsibility there. So, you see, there's a nice story and a bad story. That is life, just like Barack Obama, Yeah? I mean, there is good and bad. Itlabul ilm walau bisin. The good thing is, yes, you can enjoy all this freedom. But the bad thing is that at least, with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at least you know that you've been given more opportunities than your friends back home. Therefore you have people back home, orang kampung, the doctors back home look up to you and will look for leadership. For people who comes home from the UK, and you must not forget that. This is an amanah of that. So therefore, widen your horizon, read. This is books, you boleh, and you see, and even if you're going to watch TV, okay, well, watch BBC. Not Sky Movies, was it MTV? Yes, thank you. Excellent. MTV, you can get that in Malaysia nowadays, The BBC. Look at their documentaries. See the things that they do think differently here. When you go home, you're able to inform your friends. Mana tahu tak jadi doktor nak kerja ke RTM? Oh, TV3. Oh, Monday tak jadi menteri penerangan. Mana dah tahu. Alhamdulillah, maybe your rezeki. The point is that's why when you're here, pay heed. Learn the history here. Seek your surroundings. Look around you. Learn. And then when you go home, you bring that experience home. It is not just your degree that you will be bringing home. It is the experience. An experience of your lifetime. So, to boldly go when no one in your kampung has gone before. When you come home after 5 years, you have fulfilled that sunnah of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the beauty of our messenger. Look at our beloved messenger. He didn't say, just go pergi belajar kat negara Islam. And now we have among Muslims. In my travels, especially in the Arab lands, and also in Pakistan, they were asking questions about, can we go and study in a non-Muslim land, for example? When the Prophet ﷺ says, "Itlabul ilm walau bisin," seek knowledge even unto a non-Muslim land. There are people asking that, for example. So we must not take things for granted. Malaysians are blessed in that respect. So may you repay the kindness of your peers, the kindness of your fellow citizens, and our community as a whole, inshallah. And may you, inshallah, berbakti and do well, inshallah, at home. Right. So that is just, I thought, so a few, not rousing, but a few, the tafakkur I thought, looking at, mashallah, so many young faces here. And now we are about to read about this great Imam. So I'm just going to finish off this session by just talking about this Imam in this session. Because whatever book you read, and you may have never read this book, I assume, although in Malay there is a translation to this book, Ayyuhal Walad, but you may have never read it. And I will explain to you the book in a bit. But first, about this great Imam al Ghazali. Why do we sanjungkan dia? Why do we consider him one of the greatest Muslim scholars ever to have lived? Hujjatul Islam, the one who holds the pride of the table in our ummah with that title, Hujjatul Islam, the proof of Islam. The same maqam, the same station as, for example, in the Catholic Church, in the Christian Church, as St. Thomas Aquinas, who is known among Christians as Doctor Angelicus in Latin, meaning the angelic doctor, because the influence of St. Thomas was so profound that almost every Christian was affected by his works. Likewise, the same thing with Imam al Ghazali. This was an Imam whom Imam Suyuti, for example, says about him, that were there to be a prophet, law dalam bahasa Arab, meaning the hypothetical if, that it will never happen, of course. Dalam bahasa Arab, if you have the, what we call conditional particle, you either use the la, wow, law, or in, or either, syartiyah. If in English. But if you use the particle in Arabic lao, that means it is only a hypothetical. That were there to be a prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then it would have been this man, Muhammad bin Muhammad. Nama dia tak Muhammad lah. His name is Muhammad bin Muhammad al Ghazali. Such was his maqam. Such was his maqam. And his most famous work, what is his most famous work? The Ihya Ulumuddin. Imam Nawawi says about the Ihya Ulumuddin, were all the Quran and the Hadith to disappear on the face of this earth, then the Ihya Ulumuddin will suffice. This is the maqam of this great Imam. So he was a superstar, is a superstar, and forever will be a superstar among the Muslims, mashallah. Every madhab accepts him. He belonged dalam fiqh, in law, in Islamic law, to the Shafi'i madhab, which we are proud to say, because we in the Nusantara belong to the same school. In Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Singapore, Brunei, in parts of Egypt, in parts of Syria, in Hadramaut, for example. Alhamdulillah. Imam al Ghazali lived during the golden age of Islam when his madhab was Shafi'i. Nowadays we have young people who just learned a bit of Arabic, gone to some Arabic countries, and now coming home, maybe to Malaysia, I hear stories, now these are horror stories for me. They say, oh, we shouldn't be following madhab. This is the reason why Islam is, Muslims are divided. We shouldn't be following madhab because Muslims are divided. Then look no further than the golden age of Islam. During the age when great scholars like Imam al Ghazali lived. Almost every single scholar who lived in the golden age of Islam, look at the scientist Ibn Sina, for example, will have in their fiqh, in their law, they follow madhab. They have the Hanafis, they have the Malikis, they have the Shafi'is and the Hanbalis among the Sunnis, alhamdulillah. If that is the reason why Muslims were divided, and how could they have the golden age of Islam? Subhanallah al-Azim. Such shallow thinking. So Imam al Ghazali belonged to this great school of the Shafi'i. So therefore, you here in this land, of course you among Malaysians you see fellow Shafi'is, but then when you go to the mosque, and this is why you should go to the mosque and you pray in the mosque, and you see, when they pray they don't do your kunut. I've just reminded of my Manglish, just come back there. No kunut. So do we make sujood sahwi or not? Hey, I don't hear the Imam saying the basmalah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim for the Fatiha. It's sahha not. Oh bagus, this is why you should be here. That you learn to see the other madhab and learn to accept them as well. Learn to agree to disagree. That we accept that is the madhab Hanafi and that is correct. They are among the Sunnis. But we have to be confident enough also, don't lose your confidence and say, we are among the Shafi'is. And we all agree to disagree. Something which Christians find baffling among my friends at the university at Oxford, in the theology department, for example. Theologians, Christian theologians, they say, they don't use this word, of course I'm going to use this word, one khasa'is of Islam, one unique quality of this Islamic religion is that they have what is called a shared orthodoxy. Because in the Christendom, in the Christian world, that is an oxymoron. Do you know what is an oxymoron? Shared orthodoxy. That means, by definition, as far as Christians are concerned, if you call yourself among the orthodox, that means your church, your madhab is the only right one. Any other madhab is wrong. by definition among Christians. Subhanallah.